Yo, what's going on, guys? This is my top 5 best solo dinos to use. And as you can see, the first one, number 5, is Lambeo. I'm quickly going to say something. No, I don't have the hats on this list. You could easily have the hats at number 1 or just anywhere in the top 5, as it is a really good dino, but I personally do not like the hats. I'm not very experienced with it either, but yeah, the only thing that can kill another hats is a hats. The only problem with Hatsies is there's a lot of Hatsie players, and it's a fan favourite, so that's why it's not in my top 5. It would probably be number 6, but I could definitely see it being number 1 for some people. But yeah, just not me. And this list is based on what I think, so you could have a way different list. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of explain why I have everything in the number I do and stuff like that. And the main thing about the tier list is it's based off of 3 main factors: survivability, kill potential, and how enjoyable the dino is. So that's the main 3 things that I'm gonna be basing it off of. Enjoyable is just, it's not as important as the other 2, because that's what makes a dino good. But yeah, now the reason I say that the Lambeo is in my number 5, compared to all the other dinos, there's a lot of dinos in the game, is because it's rodeo kick. It has great stamina, it's got great survivability, you can heal yourself, you don't need anyone in your team to use those heal calls, so yeah. Another thing is the rodeo kick is amazing for fighting small creatures, so the Lambeo is just really good at fighting smaller stuff. The thing that it struggles the most with is bleeders like Aloe and stuff, but the thing is you can outrun the Aloe. You and the Aloe are the exact same speed at 1000, but the difference is you have braced legs, so uphill and downhill you're way faster, and also you have way more stamina than an Aloe. You'll outrun the Aloe. You can run for 2 minutes and 14 seconds, the Aloe can only run for like a minute and a half. Same as the DASP was 25 faster than you, so it's 1025 is the movement speed of the DASP, but you can just outrun the DASP, especially uphill and downhill. Another thing is you can actually face tank DASPs when you pop your primal mend call. Not the same for Aloes because they put bleed on you, so it stops you from healing. But and another thing about the Lambeo is, so you can run away from anything that can kill you, and anything that is fast enough to catch you, you can kill in a perfect scenario, obviously. But there's mega packs. Worst case scenario, you can just back yourself up against a cliff and use your knockback from the rodeo kick and just cliff bait the whole time and just knock people off of cliffs. Right here you can see I'm fighting a conch, who by the way chased me all the way from LBM. This Aloe was an eel and he switched to an Aloe. So yeah. And what I do, I just, get on top of a cliff and, use it as my advantage because rodeo kick does knockback. So you can heal yourself, you have knockback, you can outrun anything that can kill you, yet you can kill anything that can catch you. So yeah. Another thing is the Lambeo is a great swimmer. So, you can use that as well, like to your escapes, especially on Gondwan, not so much on Pandora, because Pandora doesn't have a lot of rivers, but Gondwa you can just cross rivers way faster than the other dinos and you use a lot less stamina. Another thing is your stamina is really good on this thing. The stamina recovery is really good, so you're same speed as an Aloe, but you can run longer and you have better stamina recovery. You're 25 speed slower than a DASP, but you can run longer, you have better stamina recovery, and also going uphill and downhill you're way faster than both of them. So yeah. Now another thing is, obviously this is solo, but when people see Lambeos they want to group up with you, so even if you are a solo player and you're struggling to find people to play with, the Lambeo is one of those dinos that people always want to group up with. But yeah, and You know, I was testing here if I could face tank this aloe, but as you can see, it just didn't work. But yeah, I could have easily just, you know, got on a cliff and kicked him off, and that would have been that. But I just wanted to showcase, you know, this whole thing's kit is, you know, it's got a great kit. The knockback on the tail of the Lambeo is also another thing. Things like the dash spin, the aloe just, you know, can't keep up with you. You know, even when they do get on top of you, you can just knock them away. And I'm kind of going to show here that you can face tank a Dasp when you have primal mend popped. Yeah. The main problem for the Lambeo is, like, you know, a pack of Pycnos in a way, because you can't outrun a pack of Pycnos. But if you time your rodeo kicks right, you can knock them away with your knockback, and it cancels out their charge unless they've fixed it by now. But yeah, yeah, that was the main thing. I think Lambeo is very underrated. I think it's very good. I see people putting Metri high up. You know, the Lambeo is just a better version of the Metri in every single way. They're both free slots, but the Lamb is way stronger. Now, coming in at number 4, I've got the Sucho. The reason I've got the Sucho at number 4 is because it can both use land and water. Now, once again, the Sucho, just anything that is strong enough to kill you, you can run away from, and anything that can catch you, you can kill. And you know, that's a pretty big part. So yeah. So, you know, for Sucho, the main things that you have to watch out for is other Suchos, because anything in water, ducks, spinos, duck, spino, Sarco are too slow on land to get you, and specifically water Sucho. This is water Sucho is what I've got at number 4. I wouldn't put land Sucho aside just because you can't use the water as much to your advantage, whereas water Sucho can still use the land really well. So yeah, but either way, going back to it, yeah. So crocs, spinos, and ducks can't catch you on land. So when you get low in the water from fighting those, you can get away and you can kill all 3 of those. It's doable. You know, you've got a decent toolkit, and that Riptide does a lot of damage. And then anything that's fast on land that you might have to worry about, like a Tyranno Titan, can actually catch a water Sucho on land. But you know, that's why you just play near rivers and get away. So yeah. Now, the main concern would be Conks and Megs, I guess, just because they're fast and on land, and they can also enter the water, so you couldn't use that as an escape. But the Sucho is very strong, and a great Sucho player can easily defend himself from a pack of Conks or a pack of Megs. Even land or water, obviously it's a little bit harder on land, but once again, you've got knockback with that claw attack. You can knock people, you can cliffbait. So you know, both Megs and Conks don't have knockback, so you can cliffbait those very easily. So you can always just knock stuff off. Another thing is you can force people to, you know, fight in your environment. What I mean by that is you can push people with the knockback into water and just kill them. They won't be able to do anything. But yeah, even against, you know, bigger packs, you know, they're going to struggle against you because they're going to need to have a lot of versatility. You know, they're going to have to run something strong enough in the water that can kill a Sucho. Then they're going to have stuff on land that can actually kill it. And you know, when there's a lot of rivers, you can traverse the map easily. Whereas, like, for example, Tyranno Titan won't be able to just keep up with you. Its stamina, just, you know, while swimming, it's going to run out. So yeah. Now I'm going to showcase here the knockback. And you may be wondering, why am I out in the open, not backing myself up against the wall or the water? Well, the main thing is baiting people in, letting them be safe. Don't show people that you have the knockback. It's something that you want to keep hidden until the right moment for you to use it, and then actually knock people in the water. So, they get a bunch of free hits on me, but it doesn't matter. At some point I'm going to catch one of them close enough, like right here, and knock them right into the water. And at this point he's pretty defenseless, and you can just keep knocking him back in, and he gets a lucky rock and gets up. But when people get out of the water, especially small stuff, they've drained a lot of their stamina and they just can't keep it up. So even when they do get on land, you could still probably punish them. But yeah, that's why I've got the water suckle as my number 4 on the list. It's pretty strong too. Against like conchs and stuff, you just back yourself up, like shallowish water where you play just very defensive. You let the conchs do the movement and you just stand there, stand your base. And on land the turn radius of bigger dinos is very bad, but in the water it's not as bad. It's a lot better, and it's a lot easier to defend yourself in the water, and it takes a lot more skill to fight in the water. Now moving on to the number 3 spot, I've got the Iguanodon. Main thing is this thing's survivability is crazy. Its kill potential isn't that very high, but the survivability on this thing is like really good. You can see I'm fighting 3 arrows here, and the main thing about the Iguanodon that makes it so good is its block and its second wind hide. And why is that? Because the thing about bigger dinos that they struggle with is they can't move, so they're kind of just sitting there waiting to get hit. But because the Iguanodon has block, when people have like for example the piercing bite on the DASP, as an apex killer, or even arrows that use the big bite that does a lot of bleed, hatchet bite, you can block that, it negates all the damage and you take practically 0 damage. So you can stay in place, and they're gonna have a very hard time punishing you if you're a good player and you know when to use the block and when to use your fun barrage. You would do really good. So yeah, and then the second wind is what makes it, also just gives it the survivability that it needs. So this thing's movement speed is pretty decent. You're a little bit slower than an arrow. You have good stamina. But the main thing is the second wind, because once you're out of stamina, second wind increases your stam recovery by 150% when you get hit for I think 8 seconds. So and especially when you go on bipedal, it increases it even more. So you regain all of your stamina back. And once again, anything big enough to kill you can't catch you, and anything small enough that can, it just isn't strong enough. So yeah, that's the main thing. And the block as well just is amazing, because when Achilles or small raptors pounce on you, you can block incoming damage, so they practically do nothing, and they just waste their stamina. And the back kick works amazing as well, just for taking care of the small stuff. Yeah, not only that, your hardest matchup is going to be the Tyrannotitan, but if you really play it right, you could honestly beat a Tyrannotitan in a 1v1, as long as you know how to use your block, and at any point you can just run away from the Tyrannotitan. And even when there's mega packs, as long as the small stuff just keeps hitting you, letting you regain that stamina, you can just consistently just outstam everyone there and get away. I've gotten away from Suchos and everything, and you can see here I outstam this aloe because he hit me. He just kept tail hitting me, and I just kept getting all my stamina back. and got him in the end. And you can even fight apexes with this thing if you know how to use your block. So yeah. Now, before I move on to number 2, I'm just gonna show how good this thing is at, like, you know, fighting even apexes, which the hardest matchup for you is gonna be apexes and Iguanodon, because you're not very offensive, but the defensive side of things is, like, you know, one of the best in the game right now. The only problem with this is you can't use block underwater, but other than that, block is pretty solid. So yeah. And the strat is when you're fighting apexes is you just walk forward, block the first bite. Maybe not a Rex, because he could bone snap you and keep you in place. Even then, if you get bone snapped, if you just you know, block, you take way less damage anyway. But yeah, main thing is just, you know, go forward with the block, and then, you know, you can just get behind. Same as stomps, you can block stomps. Yeah, it's very effective. That's why I have the Iguanodon so high up on my list. I feel like a lot of these dinos on the list are very underrated. People don't really know how good they truly are. So yeah. Yeah. And another thing is you don't need anyone for your abilities to pop. Like, obviously there's great dinos like the DAS, but the DAS needs a group for, you know, all of its abilities, whereas Iguanodon doesn't really have any abilities that require another person, and that's what makes it so good. It's got a very solid kit, and realistically you shouldn't be losing 1v1s to really anything, because you just get away from everything that is strong enough, and then small stuff like just gets absolutely demolished because of that kick that you have. So yeah. Now I fight this guy for a while, and before I move on, I just want to obviously I'm going to go to the number 2 spot and stuff, but I just have some extra footage, and yeah, if you want you can fast forward a little bit to get to number 2, but right now I'm just going to talk about this fight here. So main thing here, every time he tail hits me, once again you can see that second wind starts working, and I can just get my stand back. So yeah, it's very nice. So the whole time I'm practically full stamina, whereas this guy's probably very low on stamina, if not out of stamina, because he's consistently moving. And even though I'm doing short bursts of sprints, that second wind is just bringing it all back, so it literally doesn't matter. So yeah. And main thing here, we're just getting the stomps off. But at number 2, I've got the Barsboldia, which is going to show up after this fight. And I'm going to talk about the Bars in a second here. But I do 1v1 this Spino, but this random Miriguire comes about and you know, helps me, and then my friend on Negi gets here. But I honestly think I could have played it, if I played it perfectly from the start, I could beat this guy in the 1v1, but yeah. Moving on to the number 2 spot, it's the Barsboldia. The thing about the Barsboldia is, you know, it might be a surprise because it's an Apex, but it's actually amazing. It's not like the other Apexes. It can defend itself against small dinos very easily because of its front kick and its tail attack. Now it's, you know, Apexes. None of the Apexes besides Tyranno Titan can actually catch the Barsboldia. Maybe a Landuck, but nobody runs Landuck. Also, you can outrun both Tyranno Titan and Landuck once you get low enough to where Die Hard activates. That's the main thing that makes the Barsboldia so good, is its Die Hard perk. It gives you 4 times stamina recovery while you're low, below 35% HP, and it just, like, the small stuff cannot kill you. It literally just cannot kill you. You're gonna see the gameplay when it starts. The bars is just such a tank. So any small things, even aloes, dasps with piercing bite is a little bit hard, but even then, here I start fighting a big pack of patches and a styrac, and these guys don't even get me remotely low. This thing's survivability, its damage, it's just all around amazing. It might be a surprise because it's an apex. You would think most apexes suck, but the other apexes can't really punish you because they're not either fast enough or strong enough, don't have the stamina for it, and when you get low you just put them in the dust. Not only that, you have braced legs, so when you go uphill and downhill you just put people in the dust. Even small stuff you can catch up to it because of braced legs. It's really good. And the voice call as well. Once again, the Barsboldia doesn't require anyone to be in its team to use any of its abilities. I think that's a pretty important thing. It's not the most enjoyable. I would say the Iggy, Lambeo and Bars aren't the most enjoyable because their kill potential isn't as good as, other stuff. But it's so good defensively that, it's just hard to punish. The tail attack is super easy to hit on people. The front kick does lots of damage and it knocks people back. So, when people use piercing bite on you, you can kick them away and the piercing bite misses. It's really good. Yeah. And you can even kill Rexes if you play it right. A lot of Rexes suck. They're not very good at the game, so you could easily kill Rex players. So yeah. Main thing is you don't want to be getting bone snapped as this thing against Rexes, because that's like the main thing that can actually kill you. Nothing but a Rex can actually kill you. If you play it right at least. So yeah. That's why I've got the Bars at number 2. And number 1, I've got the Conch, which the gameplay isn't showing right now. But I just wanted to, I got into a really good fight here, so I just kind of want to keep it playing. You can see how many things here. There's like 5 patches, a styrac, and they do like no damage to me at all. I easily dismantle these guys. It's not a problem. The Barsboldia is so good that you're gonna kind of have to attack everyone, so they team up on you. Because nothing really wants to fight a Barsboldia. To be honest, it's a pretty hard fight. So yeah. But yeah, number 1 is the Conch, and I'm a little bit biased towards the Conch because it's my favourite dino and I play it all the time. But the Conch is it's very versatile. It can get both on land and water. It's super fast on both land and water. In the water, it can slow down anyone with its surge ability. Another thing is it's just super fun to play. I know that I don't really rank fun that high, but it's so easy if you die to get back to a location, get your XP back, whereas the Barsboldia is super slow and it takes a really long time for you to get back. So yeah, that's the only problem with the Barsboldia. It's super slow, and you don't have a lot of kill potential, so you kind of have to rely on these people fighting you. But most people underestimate the Bars because they're not used to running into the Bars. They think it's not good, which it's literally the best apex right now, by far. It dismantles small stuff. It kills other apexes. I mean, what else can you ask from an apex? But yeah. So the great thing about Conch is just like you can take any fight you want. You're a scavenger. You can pick people off. You can just take fights that other dinos wouldn't allow you to take. Maybe besides the Hatsy. But yeah. Another thing is the popularity of a dino. I think it quite matters a lot, because if you run into a dino that's played a lot, then you're gonna see a lot of that dino. and you don't want to be fighting the same dino as you, or more than one of the same dino as you, because it's a lot harder to win a 1v2 against the exact same dino as you are. So yeah. Now so that's why I don't really rate the Hatsi and the Patchy, because you see a lot of them all the time. They're usually in the bigger groups, especially Hatsi players. It's such a common dino that you see so many of them. It's a fan favourite. So yeah. Now no other apex in the game can defend itself as well as the bars from small dinos, maybe besides the Blockio. But the problem with the Blockio is the apexes just catch it, whereas even apexes can't catch a Barsboldia besides the Tyrannotitans. But once again, if you get Die Hard activated, you can even outrun Tyrannotitans. So yeah, it's really good. And now, before I move on, I do end up killing this Tyrannotitan, you're going to see that. But after I kill another Styrak and Apache, and it just, my recalling just stopped, so that's very annoying. But they bring a Rex, and they chase me all the way from SLL to LBM, all the way to Talon's Point, and they pull out a duck from Tuttle Island and end up killing me. So this kind of just shows like this thing's survivability even when fighting other apexes is insane. So yeah, I wish the footage was there to show it, but yeah, you're gonna at least see the Rex enter, but it doesn't show me killing Apache, Styrak, and I also killed a Dino as well. We were getting away from these guys all the way from SLL to LBM to Talon's Point, which is crazy. But yeah. Now yeah, just another thing is there's a few other dinos that I thought putting in the list. For example, the Kilo. The Kilo's pretty good. But the only problem is patches. Once again, there's a lot of patchy players, and if you're a solo killer, you're not really going to be able to kill 3 patches. Even a 1v2 can be difficult. But yeah. Also, you can see here, I did end up dying at some point, but I ran out of stamina in front of this Rex, and I still managed to put up a really good fight, which is crazy, because main thing is you need your stamina is the Barsboldia. Obviously this guy wasn't the best either, but I mean the only thing better he could have done was just bone snap me, as that would give him that 20% increased damage. But yeah, going back to the Kilo, yeah, the reason I have the Kilo pretty high up, but it's just once again patches. There's a lot of patchy players, same as the Patchy, I would have it pretty high up, but there's a lot of patchy players, so that's the thing. And then like Raptors, small Raptors, I'm not going to rank them very high because they have like 0 kill potential at all. So you're not going to kill anything as a small Raptor. So yeah, that's why I don't rate Raptors very highly. Same as the Thalassodromus. I'm not going to rate that very highly either, as it has absolutely 0 kill potential. So yeah. But you're going to see here on the bars of fight, you can, if you want to skip forward a bit to the conch footage, you can do. But yeah, my list is number 5 Lambeo, number 4 Sucho, number 3 Iggy, number 2 the bars, and number 1 the conch. I think I've explained a decent amount why I think all of those are the 5 best ones, but I mean I could see people putting Hatsi as number 1 or just anywhere on the top 5, as it is pretty good. But I mean, is Hatsi really gonna fight 3 Dasps and a Meg? I don't think so, and you're gonna see that I fight all of these guys. So yeah, this guy had piercing bite. The other Dasp isn't here, but you're gonna see. But yeah, so, and then like sea creatures like the Kairika and the dolphin, I can't rank them high because people can just leave the water and then your kill potential is over. and honestly they're not even very strong, especially as solo dinos. So you're not going to be able to kill anything. You know, the conch isn't very strong, but it is like it's just a rat, and it's very fast and it can do everything. That's why I rank it so high. Obviously I'm biased because I play the conch all the time, but my go-to is literally the conch when I'm solo. So yeah, it's same like as Struffies and Camptos. Like, yeah, okay, in Ramphorhynchus, it's like, okay, you're like practically unkillable, but you're not gonna kill anything either. And I think there should be a balance of what you can kill, and what you can't, or like what you survivability, kill potential, and then a little bit of fun as well. But yeah, that's like the main three objectives. And what, you know, another big thing is what can kill you and what can. Because if you are a dino that, you know, you're strong, but and you're slow, but there's something that's also like, you know, a little bit faster than you and a little bit stronger than you, that instantly puts me, for me, it puts the dino to like D tier, where it's just unplayable. Because if you run into that one specific matchup, you absolutely lose. So you have to either be able to kill the thing or get away from it, and that's the thing. And that's why the bars is so high up, because or really just anything in the top 5, because anything that, you know, can kill you, you can run away from. Anything that that's fast enough to catch you just can't kill you, unless they just have a insane amount of numbers. And I know that does happen, but majority of the time you're not going to be running into a 20-man team that's playing a bunch of small dinos. So yeah. And another thing is like, this is based off of official servers, not community servers, as they've got a bunch of modded stuff, and yeah, I don't play community servers, I only play official servers. So yeah. And I have builds for all these dinos that you see me play, and in the video, so if you want to check them out at all, for the builds. But you know, I use the cliffs and my the race legs, uphill and downhill, to my advantage. I actually pressed the wrong button here, and the dasps, you know, I still click them a bunch of times, but I put all 3 dasps low, put the meg 1 hit. Actually I killed the meg, and you know, these guys run away and then I get away. So it just goes to show how much, like, you know, any other dino wouldn't have been able to put up such a great fight and kill something and live. So yeah, that's why I think the Bars is so good, and I think it's the most underrated dino in the game. But yeah, the rest of the video is just me playing the game and footage and just me talking over it, as yeah, got nothing more to say about the top 5. Obviously you could change it about, or maybe you just, you know, think something different and you use different dinos. But I've got every single dinosaur in this game adult, including all the Pandora, Gondola, Pandora. I've got everything. I've played every single dino as well, so it's not like you know, I'm talking from experience. I'm not like telling you that a dino's good and then not using the dino, or a dino's bad and then I've never used a dino. No, I've used every single dino in the game that you can think of, and yeah. But yeah, as you can see, the conch is just you know, this is amazing for third party and people. So what the conch does, you just third party people. You know, you can wait till they're low, pick them off, and then run away. That's why I think the conch is just the best. Obviously you can't kill as much as, like, in a sense, you can't kill as much as a Bars could, but realistically you can, because you just pick people off. So yeah, honestly, conch's worst matchup is probably other conchs, or Hatsies. I see a lot of people struggle with Hatsies on the conch, just fair enough. But yeah, yeah. I just also for example, Pycno. I wouldn't rate Pycno very high, even though it doesn't rely on teammates. Its turn radius is very bad. I feel like that's also another thing. Turn radius matters. Because if you're a solo, you're gonna be doing a lot of 1v1s or 1v2s, and you kind of need a good turn radius to win those. Unless you're just like a Barsboldia or like something with block that you can just stand your ground and defend yourself without having to turn much. As out-turning people is gonna win you 1v2s and 1v1s. Is like turning is like the most important part in 1v1s and 1v2s, because if you're just tail riding someone the whole time and they can't get a hit on you, it doesn't matter how strong they are. But yeah, like you can't tail ride a Barsboldia. You can tail ride Iguanodon, but it doesn't. Well, you can't really, because you can just get kicked in the face. But at the same time, you just block everything. But yeah, yeah, just the ability to get in water and stuff, I rate that very high as well. Just being semi-aquatic is pretty good, but you kind of have to have both. That's why I also kind of rate the Hatsi, even though I don't have it in the top 5. It's just because I'm not a Hatsi player, to be honest. So but the fact that Hatsi and only 2 other dinosaurs can get in the sky, and one of them can't even do damage, is really good. But I feel like the Hatsi kind of lacks the kill potential in a way. For example, yeah, like you could kill an Apex if he's really bad, but it's a lot harder to kill, I feel like, an Apex as a Hatsi than as a conch, because the Hatsi's super big. So it's a lot easier to land hits on a Hatsi. Obviously you could play the very slow game and roll people the whole time, or wing flap the whole time, or even cliffbait. But I don't. Honestly, I don't really like cliffbaiting. I think it's very boring. But yeah. Either way, I'm just gonna go into gameplay now. Unless something else comes across. But yeah. I just waited for this guy to rest. Yeah, he took some fall damage and I just ambushed this guy. So yeah. I'm back to turn, he's already pretty low. He doesn't seem like the best player. So yeah. Pretty straightforward. He runs, which is never a good idea when you're bleeding. You know, better off just walking. And I get into a ring around the roses with this guy. He just, uses this rock. Honestly, I should have just stopped. I know what I was doing here. Must have been the early morning. Also, I see a lot of dasps trying to heavy bite small dinos. It's literally not worth it. Unless you perfectly line it up, because most of the time your heavy bite lands on tails and it just does no damage. Whereas your normal bite already does a lot of damage and you probably hit them a lot easier. But yeah. That's just the main thing about conch though, is, you can take every fight. The boss can take a fight. It can protect itself very well, but you can't force the fight. If someone doesn't want to fight you, then they won't fight you. But yeah. With TLCs consistently coming out, this could very easily change. For example, I don't rate the Meg very highly because it's just a worse conker in every single way. You're worse in the water. You're slower on land. I haven't lost to a Meg in a very, very long time. It just gets outclassed by the conch. So, yeah. Even though, they have the same thing, but the conch is just better in every single way. So, that's why, I would rank the Meg in D tier, because it's just there's a dinosaur out there that does exactly what you do, but does it better in every single way. Besides the fact that it doesn't have poison to stop people from regaining stamina as fast. Maybe if it had the old poison, where you don't regain any stamina and you lose stamina at the same time, I would rate it a lot higher. But yeah, in every way right now, it's just way worse than the conch. But yeah. And the other apexes, like the eel, amazing at fighting small dinos, the block heal specifically, but can't get away from other apexes, so it just doesn't work in a mega pack setting. The Lambeo, I could see a lot of people not agreeing with the Lambeo, but that's because I just think people don't realise how easy the Lambeo is to use and how great it is at fighting small dinos. And you know, once again, anything strong enough just can't catch you because of those brace legs and that tail attack that does a lot of knockback damage. But yeah, you know, I can't really think of any other dinos that I would play solo. But yeah, especially apexes. Most apexes just aren't playable solo, besides Barsboldia, obviously. The Thalassodromus, I can't rate it very highly because the Hatsy's about, and you know, the Hatsy's like, it's just so much better than, obviously they're not the same, but realistically the Hatsy can actually, you know, what are you going to kill with a Thalassodromus? A Hatsy can kill stuff, at least, whereas the Thalassodromus can't. Not really, unless you're just fighting a horrific player. But yeah. And, you know, you can't rate a dino based off of the player. You have to rate the dino based off of the dino and how it does against other dinos. So yeah, you know, it was crazy because somebody disagreed with me when I said this, that you can't rate a dino based off of the player. And that's, you know, how could you rate a dino based off of a player? You have to rate the dino based off of the dino. Because, you know, they can be a player that's, you know, for example, the Dasp is really good in a group setting. But if there's two really bad players, they could lose to 2 allos, even though 2 Dasps should always beat 2 allos because of Tyrant's Ally and Tyrant's Raw, which gives you 30% armor and damage increase. So it's like, you know, and not only that, you have skills to counter allo, stuff like that. And you're faster, and you got about the same stamina. So yeah, just stuff like that. So I always rate the dino based off of the dino, not off of someone that plays a dino, as that's pretty stupid. Now at some point I will be making a full tier list for every single dino in the game, and I'll be ranking them from A tier to D tier and stuff, S tier, stuff like that. But I'm gonna wait till TOCs get released, as there's no point of ranking them now, as there's just a lot of TOCs still to be made, and I'm gonna name things that need a TOC like right now. Starting off with the Campto, needs it super bad. Stego needs it super bad. Metri needs it super bad. Those 3 I think are the main ones, and obviously Allo, Spino, Alio right now, because they thought it was a good idea to take out its Tyrant's Raw without giving it its TOC, which is crazy. Yeah, I think that's the main ones that need it. And Amarga is very simple. Also, Amarga, I rate the Amarga very highly. I've seen on a tier list that wasn't rated very highly, which is crazy. You know, I see people saying that Tyrannotitans kill them, but it's like, that knockback is so much, and you outstam Tyrannotitans easily. I've fought a pack of Tyrannotitans all the time, and I've not died to a Tyrannotitan on the Amarga in a very, very long time. I think your biggest matchup is an Amarga is like a pack of well coordinated Dasps. Could definitely mess up an Amarga. Yeah, but that was pretty much it for the video. Let me know what you think of the tier list.